think about the thing that you are trying to be. That it's just a word. Unless you've done the work and you've been really specific about exactly what that title personifies, what attributes the person who holds that title has, what character traits they have, the way that they live their life. Unless you've done that very, very simple due diligence, actually achieving it is very, very difficult. And it's such an essential part of the process. And this isn't some bullshit fake it till you make it sort of thing, because I hate that. I hate that mentality, fake it till you make it. No, don't. Be incredibly specific with every action that you take and every thought that you have about the pursuit that you are currently in. Say like you want to be a successful business owner. Well, what is the difference between a business owner and a successful business owner? And you might think the amount of money that they make, but it isn't, because there's so much that goes into making the money. The way that a successful business owner lives their life is so very different than the way that somebody who is just a business owner lives their life. Everything about their day, every conversation that they have, the content that they expose themselves to, what time they get up, what they do once they're out of bed, you know, the purpose with which they move through the day, the time that they dedicate to different things in each day, but also the tasks that they pursue, how much focus they put on health, on their mental health, on their education, you know, the sorts of people that they associate with, their behavior throughout the day, the things that they do, whether they drink, whether they smoke, whether they go to the gym, and if they do, the way in which they do it. Because there is a light year of difference between having a drink at the end of a busy day and drinking every single day to an excess to help you try to cope with the stress of the day. Those two things are not the same. So even with that, when I say specificity, I mean if you're going to mention drinking alcohol, you've got to be incredibly specific in the way in which that alcohol is consumed and the volumes that you consume it in. The definitions of a title is something that is so overlooked in my eyes. It's never given the time and attention that it requires, because it's one of the most important elements of the way that you define yourself as a person. It's an integral part of your identity. Each title that an area of your life holds is very, very important. So for me, I'm a dad of 3. But what sort of dad do I want to be? I want to be an incredible dad to my children, to my 2 sons and my daughter. I want to be the sort of dad that other kids are jealous of my children because they have me as a dad. I want to be a dad who my children are proud of. I want them to be proud to tell people that I'm their dad. That's the sort of dad I want to be. It's incredibly specific. But what goes into that? Like, what sort of time do I spend with them? And the time that I do spend with them, how much of my attention do they have? What do I talk to them about? What do I teach them? What's the purpose of my time with them if I'm not going to give them everything that I can? So to put it into context, my children are 18, 14 and 12. My son's 18 and 14, my daughter's 12. So every conversation that I have with them, to me, is important. I need to make sure that I'm locked in for all of my interactions with them, because they're all important for a multitude of reasons. One of them being, I'm running out of time with them. I know as a dad right now, I'm in the privileged position that all of my children are fully dependent on me. But as they get older and they learn more and they become independent, they won't be dependent on me anymore. And that's the whole point of parenting your children well, so that they no longer need you in that respect. They'll always need me in a sense, and I will always be their dad. They will always be my children. But in order for me to be an incredible dad, I need to do the uncomfortable things, the things that I don't want to do. I don't want to teach my children how to live without me. But if I don't teach them that, then I failed them as a dad. So everything that goes into teaching my children to grow into adults who don't need me, they just want me, is incredibly, incredibly important. And it can only be achieved by being very, very specific. Now, that's just one title. Being a partner. What sort of partner, what sort of husband do I want to be? What does it look like in order for me to be the husband that I want to be? What life can I provide? You know, do I provide everything? Do I pay every bill? Do I provide both physical security and mental and emotional security, as well as financial security? Yes. Those boxes need to be ticked with fucking indelible ink in order for me to even step into the realm of being the sort of partner, the sort of husband that I want to be to my wife. And if I can't tick those boxes with an absolute fuck yes, I tick that box, grab me a Sharpie, then I'm failing in my duties, in my pursuit of being the type of husband that I want to be. And I've got a very, very dark line that I need to cross. It's not it's not hazy, it's not blurred, it's not ambiguous. It's very specific. And that is why I am successfully ticking those boxes, because I know where the line is. I know what sort of man I need to be in order to step up to that for both my duties as a husband and my duties as a dad. As a business owner, I don't want to just be a business owner. I don't just want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an incredibly successful entrepreneur, business owner. And I know the way that those people live. I know how I need to think, how I need to act, how I need to speak, how I need to feel, how I need to conduct myself on a day-to-day basis if I'm going to get within sniffing distance of achieving that goal. And I am absolutely fucking determined to achieve that goal in exactly the same way as I am in my realm of life as a husband and as a father. You know, as a coach to my clients, I don't want to just be a coach. I want to be the best coach that my clients have ever had. I want to be the coach that in 10 years time, 15 years time, 20 years time, my clients will still talk about whenever they talk about the darkest periods of their life that they went through, and what and who was integral to helping them get through it. Why are they in the position that they're in now? I want to be part of that story. I want to be spoken of in a manner that means that their investment in me, their time with me, was integral. That's not for my ego. That's because if that isn't the way that I'm spoken about by my former clients, then I failed as a coach. I'm not an exceptional coach if they don't speak about me in that way. So that's another standard that I know that I need to hit in order for me to be able to achieve and hold that title and know that I actually deserve it. I don't want any title from anybody, whether it's from myself or from somebody else, if I know intrinsically that I am not doing everything that I need to be and should be to actually deserve the title. The definitions and distinctions of any title are so important. And what I want you to do, simple exercise, think about the titles that you want to hold. Don't just go, I want to be a dad, or I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. I want to be a business owner. I want to be successful. Don't be vague. Be specific. Get a pen and paper and write down exactly what you want to be, to the absolute letter. To the absolute letter. And then set everything that you need to about what is required in order to be that. What will actually put me in a position where I'm fulfilling that title. What does my day look like? What do my weeks and my months and my years look like? What do I spend my time doing? More specifically, what do you also not do? What do you not allow? You need to do both sides of the coin. You can't just say, oh, these are the things that people do, because what if you're doing the things that a successful business owner does or an amazing mother does, but then you're also doing things that they don't do? If you only specify one side of the coin, you don't get the whole coin. Honestly, this is an exercise as you go through, and when you finish the list, do a direct comparison. What is the disparity between the list that you've just created for the person that you want to be, the way that you want to be seen, the way that you want to be known, the way that you want to live your life? What's the disparity between that and the life that you currently live? How far is it? How off the mark are you at the moment? Because it's really, really important. The bigger the disparity between the way that you've just lived the last 12 months of your life or more, in comparison to the list that you've just compiled, that is representative of the amount of work that you now have to do so that you can close that gap, and so that you can actually, honestly, claim those titles and live them. Because if you've got a title that you don't live, it doesn't mean fucking anything. It doesn't mean anything. There's no point claiming to be a good person if you know that you do numerous things that a bad person does, that somebody who is not a good person at all does on a regular basis. You can't claim to be good. This is really important. Take the time to do it, and take the time to do it well. Don't rush it, because you don't get the benefit if you rush the job. You really won't. This is something that I take most of my clients through, because most of my clients have a specific thing that they're working towards, something that they want to achieve. Whenever this hasn't been done, it is made harder simply because they are less clear of what it is that they're actually trying to achieve. And if you have less clarity, you have less certainty. If you have less certainty, it is harder to take action. So this is paramount. If you're on a journey, if you're about to embark on a journey, even more specifically, start with this. Don't do anything until you set the definition of the exact person that you want to become, the way that you need to live your life. Like I said earlier in the video, this is not about fake it till you make it. It's not about that at all. This is about embodying and living the life of the person that you want to be. It's a stepping stone process. It's no different than fitness. If you are overweight at the moment, if you're fat at the moment and you want to be lean, you want to be fit, you want to be healthy, you can't fake it till you make it. You just need to set out the list. Well, how does a fit, healthy, lean person live their life? What do they do? What time do they get up in the morning? What sort of exercise do they do? What sort of step count do they hit every day? What sort of foods do they eat? What's their food selection look like? What do their portion sizes look like? How much protein do they eat? How much carbs do they eat? How much fat? What's their total calories? Do they track the calories or not? Do they know exactly what macros they're eating each day? How much water do they drink? Do they take any supplements? How much do they prioritize sleep? You've got to go through all of these different things. Get specific with everything, because the more specific you get and the more of the things you tick off the list that a fit, healthy, lean person does, the closer you're going to become to being that person, because you're living that life. It's the same in business, it's the same in parenting, it's the same in relationships, it's the same in everything. It's a very simple stepping stone process. You've just got to take the time to set out the list of definitions that you need to have so that you can actually start to close the gap. And a lot of people won't do this. A lot of people, either they will do it, but they will do it in a really fucking limp dick fashion, and they won't take it seriously. They won't create the whole list, because as they start to, they're going to consciously clock, I'm nowhere near this. I'm not living like this at all. I've been claiming the title of a successful business owner, but I'm not living the life of one. I claim to be a great parent, but off the list that I'm creating of the 25 things that I've just listed that I deem a great parent does, I'm doing like 5 of them. If you're doing 20% of the work, can you claim to be the thing? I don't think you can. And a lot of people, as they start to realize that, it gets uncomfortable, it becomes painful, and they stop. And then they just retreat back within themselves, stick the head back up their arse, and carry on living a lie, because that's realistically all you're doing. When you do this, you're challenging your identity. You're challenging your identity in a very real way. So take the time to do it. Accept that it's probably going to be uncomfortable, and just do the work that needs to be done.